Good evening, and welcome back to TSC News at 5:45. We're here today with Eugenia Craig, the new host of the Get Real show. Now, Eugenia, what was your introduction to Get Real? Like, how did you? What did you think of it when it was first brought up to you?
I was happy. You know, I've never really done anything with other people because I'm not very social. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Because really, unlike the other Get Real hosts, you were sort of thrown into this a bit more quickly. Sort of, because I believe the other Get Real hosts, before they came on the show, they had a chance to producer, either me or Christopher. We would bring people in, and we'd know people already who would be good in the format. You were brought in a lot more quickly, and compared to the others, you've sort of. Compared to others, it's sort of an outlier because I know you're quite a bit younger than the rest of our hosts. So does that change the vibe at all, or do you think you fit right in?
No, it's fine. Yeah. I've been told I have the grammar of a middle-aged man sometimes, so I don't really care. No.
That's good. That's good. Comparing the bits that you're doing now to the bits that I did when I was your age. You definitely have a lot more sophisticated bits than I did at that time, because I did bits like, and I'm sure we'll roll some clips of this, bits called "If You Can't Stand the Globin', Get Out of Here," where I literally just told a story and it was so quiet you couldn't even hear it. And then my weekend update bit where I tried to do a sketch similar to the early days of Saturday Night Live, which I had gotten on DVD at the time, and I was watching a lot of it. Some of it went well, some of it not so much. It was just really weird. Anyway, do you consider yourself a comedian? Do you think of yourself in this in this way of being funny?
I'm not a comedian. It's more of just me making fun of something, someone, or mostly myself. I'm really good at that. Yeah.
Okay, that's
yeah. I'm not really a comedian. No, I just kind of show up.
Well, it's all about the energy you give off in any given environment, and I know that Taya and I both agreed from the moment we watched your Cinderella audition that you had that kind of energy that would fit Get Real.
I'm gonna have to add something. I think the first moment that I ever felt like a comedian was me saying that Prince Charming was gay, and showing it to everyone. That was the funniest time I've ever felt because it was really funny in my opinion. But that was probably just me. Yeah.
That's right. I will say a lot of times when because I don't consider myself a comedian either. I just like to try to do funny stuff, and a lot of times it's making yourself laugh, and maybe other people will find it funny, and that's sort of the way I go with it too. You mentioned a lot of making fun of yourself and doing it in a way that other people can laugh with you about it. That's something that I learned after watching Conan O'Brien, and watching Conan O'Brien was the biggest part because he had these jokes where he did this self-deprecating humor. He was able to make fun of himself, but do it in a way that was funny. So I didn't have to at the time when I would I had a pattern of self-loathing, a pattern of I didn't like who I was and I didn't know how to express it, and it was kind of a depressing cycle, but being able to use that for humor really helped. It helped me to understand myself better, and it helped me to express myself. So adapting comedy was sort of this way of doing that. And Get Real already existed at that time. Morgan was hosting it, and then we just adapted it into more a variety sketch comedy show where we could come together and do something that we all enjoyed, that we thought was funny, and something to brighten it up. And watching all that footage now is really cool because we get to watch ourselves grow up in front of the screen. And for the show to have gone on this long is really impressive. And to bring in someone now who is around the same age that we were when we started it, it's just a really cool full circle moment to have this be the finale of Get Real.
Yeah, I really got into humor and making fun of myself. It's just me watching old videos of myself on my very old tablet I had when I was in the kindergarten, and I would just make my friends watch it while I was just subconsciously bullying myself or reading old diary entries and bringing it to school and bullying myself. It was really funny in my opinion. No one really thought that. It was just me being why did I write this? I spelled the word says wrong 8 times, and it was really funny in my opinion. So
yeah, I've been writing stories since I was probably 3 or 4. I mean, I couldn't even write yet, but my mom would write down what I said, and I have all these little books of like all the stuff I wrote down, and then I picked up millimeter tape camera, and I started making videos with it, and then got my own camera when I was 7. That's sort of how I did it too. Looking back at my old videos and trying to adapt them is sort of how I just sort of push them into like the next generation of my life, I guess I would say. Would you say you have any person or group or show or whatever, something that you find funny that you take inspiration from?
Someone I find funny. Well.
Okay, Taya.
The only person coming to mind is Adam Sandler, and only because of the way he dresses, like a middle-aged dad, and that's half the reason. Nothing really. Also, because I really liked his old SNL sketches.
Okay, yeah.
Because I like how the way he worked with his other people. I'm trying to think. No one is coming to mind. I can't think right now, but probably once I already know what I'm gonna say. He cheated. The only thing I can think about, John Mulaney, but I stopped listening to him after he cheated on his wife. Same with Bo Burnham, if you know who that is.
I think so.
Yeah. I used to listen to a lot of them. Now I really don't, because I just kind of lost interest. But they're mostly my biggest, like, ideas I take from them.
Okay, yeah. For me, I think it's I think a lot of Get Real was based on Conan O'Brien originally. Like the first couple seasons are like sort of page for page from his playbook, and then the early workings of Chevy Chase are some of the other ones that famously very hard to work with behind the scenes, but still his early comedy is still something that is very interesting. And the early days of SNL, because back then SNL was not a mainstream thing. It was very offbeat. It was very indie, and they were like trying to be super different. They were trying to be like something no one had ever seen before. They play on themselves a lot. So like they'll have this 2-layer thing where like you're watching a sketch about backstage in the show. It's little bits like that. It's like making a show that can make fun of itself and can have this double layer situation. And I like to put that into Get Real a lot. I like to say like, okay, here's all the bits that are part of the show, and now here's us backstage. It's still a bit, but it's we're playing versions of ourselves in the show, and it's meta to the point where you can't really tell where the line is. Like, where's the real show? Where's the bit? Like, is the director dead? No, he's playing a bit, because it'd be kind of mean to show him dead in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
But that's why it's funny, because like it's silly enough where you can tell it's real, but it's like, okay, this is an interesting thing, because you're like backstage.
Yeah, darker humor is funnier to me, because a lot of my friends like dark humor, except it just as it is.
So this is the last season of this version of Get Real. We're probably going to reboot it someday, but we want to end this version at 100 episodes. So what do you think we can expect final season?
A lot of hints about my uncle. I'm probably just going to keep dropping lore about him / my mother. But probably a lot about my red hair, because it's going to I dye it during the winter, so if we do anything during the winter, it's just going to get darker. That's the only thing I really expect. Probably a lot of Who's Line, I can already tell.
Yeah.
And, what are you expecting?
Well, this is the first time we've ever had, well, I shouldn't say the first time. I mean, it's been 5 years, like, since Michelle left. So, the show's kind of gone downhill since then, and I've really wanted to, like, bring in some new energy, someone who had sort of the similar skills that Michelle had, which is what we've been lacking all this time, and that's where you come in. So we wanted to have the energy increased in the show, and I think the final season is going to be really exciting, because now there's 3 hosts. So we go between Sarah and Taya and you, and everybody comes in and does their own thing. We bring back a couple of old bits, like the club dance is coming back, and I'm looking forward to not having to write as many of the episodes, because I usually have to like write in detail every episode, everything that happens. I'm looking forward to doing more improv sketches like we used to do with Michelle, just relaxing and letting the humor take something that I'm really looking forward to this season.
Yeah.
It's going to make it a lot more fun to look back on later.
Yeah, as much as I like memorizing lines and jokes, I also like improvising them a lot, because it's very fun to do, and it can be very difficult though. And,
Yeah.
The show is really cool, though. Thank you guys for inviting me. It's very nice.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. We knew the moment, I think Taya and I both knew the moment we saw you at that audition. I said to Taya, I think we found the next host to Get Real. And I wasn't sure if we were actually going to do that. And then end of Cinderella, I was like, okay, we're just gonna see what happens here. And I'm very glad that happened. I'm very glad it's resulted in you being here, because I think this is really good. And I hope even after the show is over, I hope we continue to collaborate in some other sources, and we can find ways to like I would enjoy very much to find ways to give something, to make something that you would be good in, you know, like to be the behind the camera person to your talent and energy. I would very much enjoy to do that as the years go by. So I'm very interested in that. So okay, you can catch Eugenia and Taya and Sarah as well on the 12th and final season leading up to episode 100, Saturdays at 6 on TSC and streaming on Plex. We'll be right back.
So she was saying, like, oh, how would the prince walk? And I walked like this. Because I was like, well, he's probably gay because, number one, he didn't want to dance with anyone at the ball. Like, here's just my little show of how he probably reacted to everyone. There's a girl with, like, a striped dress. Honey, you're wearing blue and black. I can't dance. You know, oh, there's pink. Oh, Cheshire Cat. Nope, I'm not dating a girl with pink and blue. Ugh. And then, oh no, Cinderella, I love your blue on blue ensemble. Save me from these people. That was my little thing, and I thought it was funny at least. But
it's even more funny when Alexis was wearing a white dress.
Yeah,
It's also good because the audience for that and Angie McKenzie, historically loud laughers, so they get the crowd going if they're ever in a crowd.
Yeah, that was my little audition bit from like when we did Cinderella. Other than that, that was the funny part of
You want marshmallows?
Marshmallows?
Who wants marshmallows?
For toasting?
I also remember, I think, before you even started the audition, you were up there talking about something. I don't remember what. You had like a binder in your hand, and
I was talking because I was ripping off paper because I was chewing gum beforehand.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Was I not supposed to rip it? And I was very anxious because it was like the first one I've ever tried out for, other than like outside of my normal theater group. I've done showcase and stuff, but it was my first. So I was very nervous. So I was ripping up paper on my lyrics, and she was asking about it, and I was like, oh God, did I do something wrong? And it was just me having like a panic attack up there. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. We could tell you were nervous, but it was the way you were turning that into humor that we thought was really impressive.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, yeah, this is just was I not supposed to do that? Oh shoot. Well, there goes my audition. Okay, guys, bye-bye. That was just.
Meanwhile, Taya and I are looking at each other like we found the next host to get real right there.
And they casted you for what reason?
I don't. For me, just to be there. Just my overall energy.
Okay, we're back. There's a thing I forgot to mention, and that is a film that happened. Yes, backstage at Cinderella, a mockumentary, I should say, film was made called Tick Tick Roomba. And it was completely improvised, and there was a lot going on, and I just felt, let's capture it. So, what was your thoughts on Tick Tick Roomba?
It was mostly me being bored because I was wearing half the backstage experience. I was wearing pants, so I was really happy about that. So I played a Roomba and the cat, and it was a lot of fun. We wrote songs. There was backs. None of them were made. We had the fan dance.
Yes.
And I forgot about that, but yeah, it was just hectic and very chaotic, but fun.
Yeah. And it's moments like that when I will pick up the camera and say, this is the time to record it. This is the time to try and make a bit out of this. Because that's what I do on Get Real. I'm capturing this randomness of all these people interacting, and my goal is to turn it into something that can be watchable for years to come. I also thought, hey, this is a perfect opportunity to show not just you, but also the other people who were there are capable of doing this kind of format, of being in this this mockumentary film format. Yeah. So the truth-telling Roomba was an inside joke for a while. And
we were just singing and just being very loud backstage, in which we were not supposed to do. Us T-posing.
Yes.
Dabbing at the end. Nuisance backstage. I was in the way of a lot of stages getting changed. I've always done that though. I didn't know how to floss in my school theater production, so I was doing it backstage. Someone was teaching me. I delayed a lot of people's getting entrances and made the play a nuisance. Yeah, I don't know how to floss, but I tried and I messed up. But yeah.
Okay, I'm going to demonstrate. Take it to the floss.
Okay.
Do the floss.
I wasn't sure if it was me who was trying to teach you how to floss.
There's a couple people because I was failing Okay, so
It's gonna be great.
So, I feel like I'm doing it. Is that...
Yeah. Humor her. She's doing it.
Oh yes, of course. You are definitely doing it.
Okay, so I was like, I'll do it. There you go. There you go. There you go. All right, speed it up. Speed it
I
up.
can't do it. I think I can't put that on my resume. I can do a couple other cool things, but not that.
You can T-pose, right?
Oh yeah.
And dab.
T-pose for power.
Yeah.
Can you lean?
Far enough where I can almost die, but yeah.